everybody, and welcome to the September 2025 update from Clydebridge Station. In this month's update, work is going to continue on the concourse at the railway station end of the layout. We'll be installing a new departure board from scale model scenery. We'll also be installing some benches, and we might get a couple more people on to the concourse as well. I'm also going to be doing a bit of landscaping work next to the motor rail ramp as well. Now, if you've got any comments, queries, suggestions regarding what you see in this video, or indeed any of the other programmes on this channel, then please leave them in the comments box below or the appropriate video, and I look forward to reading them. And if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon so you can be notified of when new videos appear on this YouTube channel. There's at least one per calendar month. So with all of that, if you're all ready, let's go. Now this part here is where I'm going to be doing the landscaping work this month. I'll come to that later on in the programme. But this is where I'm going to be talking about first of all. This lamp here does not work. The reason it doesn't work is, as you can see there, it's not connected to anything. Now the plan that I've got in my head is to connect this up and then stick this against the wall that will be going at the back here. I've got a plan in my head on how to connect this up so it can actually work. I'll test that off camera, and what I'll do later on in the programme, I'll report back to you and let you know if it was successful. Let's get on with the departure board. This is a scale model scenery next train indicator and platform clocks kit, which is Alpha X-ray 014 Oscar Oscar. It allows you to build what's called an NTI, a next train indicator multi-platform one with a scaffold, and that's what we're going to be building. You'll have already seen me building the two of the 16 individual portrait NTI boards. The kit also comes with double-sided NTI displays with clocks that you would find at station platforms. We're not actually going to be using them for this because Clydebridge is a dead-end terminus. But had Clydebridge been a through station, they would have been used. This is what the kit looks like, and you can already see that some of the stuff has been used. I'm going to be using that, one of those as well. And there's a whole, how can I put it, a glittering array of stuff in here. It's all connected with the various things. It looks like a jigsaw, so happily Scale Model Senior have supplied a map for everything. Now it includes, as I've already mentioned, a scaffold which I'll have to then use to site the board on. You can see there. Now the only problem is with the scaffold is it's not high enough to sit on Clydebridge Station, so I'm going to have to build something else. I think more likely I'll scratch build something that the base can sit on, and I'll then spray it grey, in the same grey that I'll be spraying the scaffold with. So it's not an easy job that's going to be getting done very quickly. And just to show you, the scaffold has to be glued together in various bits. And if I put the camera down, if I put that down there, and you can just see there just the sort of complexities that I'm going to be building. I won't bore you to death going through the kit and taking you a step-by-step stage. I'll get on and build the thing and then let you see what the finished product looks like, and then I'll talk about how I'm going to try and extend the height That's the departure board built and eventually put into place. It's sitting on a little plinth that I made for it. Now, the kit that it comes in comes also with enough parts to make 18 individual platform boards such as this. But as I only need 6 of them, I used 4 of them to make 4 of the little pieces to make a square plinth to put it on, a 5th one to stick a roof on it, as it were. And then using the old board, I was able to test how high I had to go with it, and it was 4 more sections high. I'll lift the camera up a minute and let you just see in there what I'm meaning. Don't know how well the light picked it up, but the departure board is now high enough and it can be seen clearly. Laser cut kit glue was used to build some of the fiddly bits, and the frontage was done using Yoo-hoo glue. With that board now in place, I'm now going to turn my attention to building the individual boards for platforms 2 and 3, and then work out how many benches I'll get in there. Will I get 1 or 2 in? There won't be a litter bin, there won't be a lamp there, so there might well be a litter bin there instead. So I've got a little bit of planning and working out to do, but the main thing is the departure board is now in place and it's beginning to look a lot more like a concourse. Links to all the stuff that I'm using from SMS, by the way, will be in the description below. Now, we've got the camera off its tripod now, so I will apologise for it being a little shaky, but there's where we're up to at the moment. So it's the departure board for platforms 1, 2, 3 and 4 there. Must confess, I've forgotten about the platform numbers. So they're going to get done next, before I carry on with the rest of this. And you'll actually see that there'll be the 2 benches here, but this will be where a lamp post will go. A litter bin there. There'll be no litter bin here because I'll have it in between WH Smith and the parcels office. The other thing to mention to you as well is that I've run out of the little plastic pillars, so I've had to resort to these metal ones from Scale Model Scenery. But hopefully they should just do the same job. I'll probably, although I've stuck them in with Yoo-hoo glue, I'll probably just add a little touch of laser cut kit glue to them. But I've got the holes marked for platforms 5 and 6 there for the departure boards. But yeah, before I do any more along here, I'm going to add in the platform numbers. And I've got the template of the pillar actually made ready, so I'll be able to cut some and start getting them in. After all, people need to know what platform they're on, and they won't just be restricted to the front here. They'll probably go for, I'll maybe put some more further up as well along the platforms as I go. This here is the concourse now. We've got the benches in place, we've got the departure boards for each platform in place, there's numbers for each platform at the ends of the platforms in place. We've got the multi-platform departure board in place. The benches and the multi-platform departure boards and individual departure boards are from Scale Model Scenery. Eagle 1 Model Railways done the signs, and the lamp post is from P.D. Marsh Models. Obviously there's a lot more to get put into the concourse, but that'll be for another time. We have come quite a good way with the concourse. When I say there's still things to do here, I've got to make up a part here for WH Smith to keep a couple of roll cages in. I've got to put the street map in there, and probably get a couple more people in there along with a little bit more litter. But the concourse isn't finished yet, but but the main part has been done. By the way, the metal rods that hold the numbers for each platform, they're actually supplied from scale model scenery, and I've simply glued in one of the numbers onto a piece of the pavement, a pavement strip, and then cut it out, and then glued the number on the other side onto it. You laser cut kit glue, let that dry, and then put laser cut kit glue at one end and glued it onto the pillar, and that's led to what you see here. So it's actually good. It's actually worked out quite well. Admittedly, platform number 2 is a little bit wonky, but hey ho, we'll get to that sometime. It's also given me a lot of confidence for when I come to do the station name boards on the platforms, which is a project that will be getting done at some point in the future. Still to come on the programme, we're going to get the vegetation done here, tell you what my possible solution was for this, and some shout outs. But now we're going to turn our attention to something that I touched on in the previous video, and which you'll have seen on Instagram, and that's another new locomotive on the layout. And there we have her. This is the Bachmann 47406, named Rail Riders, carrying Intercity Executive livery. And this is the Gauge Master limited edition one. I believe it was limited to 512 examples. This is a replacement for the Lima version, which I had on the layout. That got sold on eBay. This is a much better runner than the Lima one, as you would expect, and it's certainly a lot better looking as well. It's not as plasticky looking. The locomotive was supplied with etched nameplates and was DCC fitted. The etched nameplates were not applied, but I have applied them ahead of a naming ceremony that is going to be done for this locomotive at the layout in the future. The livery on the locomotive is absolutely superb. We can actually compare that with the ScotRail one behind, which is a similar livery, albeit with ScotRail branding and a blue stripe. The roof is absolutely accurate, although I have actually noticed that on this one the grey around here is slightly darker than the grey on here. No idea why that is the case. The locomotive also carries, I believe that is the Gateshead TMD crest, and it's got the Gateshead TMD allocation label underneath the data panel. It's very difficult to pick out, but I can just see it there. The locomotive was supplied, as I say, DCC fitted, and she is programmed to number 406. Sprung buffers at both ends, as is your old Bachmann tooling, or the previous Bachmann tooling. One thing I've noticed about this locomotive as well, and again, it's a question I'm going to put back to everybody. These black marks that you see here, which you see at a higher position on 47708. Does anybody have a clue what the hell that's all about, please? No cab aerials are fitted, and this locomotive was not actually fitted with them for quite some time. The Rail 47406 later went on to a restricted intercity pool and was also available for freight work, and it had its nameplates removed during 1988. It was moved onto a restricted pool because it was one of the so-called generators, the 20 pre-production versions of the Class 47, which had a DC generator as per the Class 46 peaks. You've got to remember that the first 20 of these actually were fitted with equipment that was due to be used in the peak class. So these were peaks with a 47 body on them, and they also were fitted with Westinghouse brakes, whereas the production versions such as 47708 had Oerlikon braking systems. Although she was moved on to restricted pool, which would be for hauling weekend electric trains on diversion routes, particularly on the East Coast Main Line, and also hauling intercity 225 sets between Bradford and Leeds before the wires were extended to Bradford Forster Square. This locomotive did get about and done some work it was not really meant to do, shall we say. As a former member of the original Rail Riders Club myself, I must tell you that the club magazine, which was called Express, set a challenge for you to get your photo taken behind the club logo. Now, by the time I joined the club, it was 47488. However, in one edition of the magazine, somebody managed to get their photo taken at Scarborough, having had this machine hauling them all the way. I believe that would have been the Glasgow Queen Street to Scarborough Saturday only intercity summer service. She's actually coupled up here to the TransPennine train, and that's very accurate because, like the other generators that were allocated to Gateshead by the time this layout set, she was in the PTPA pool, but by late 1988 that pool had been taken over by locomotives such as 47475 and other ones such as you see here 47535, and after October 1988 appearances on such trains would have been very rare and extremely notable. But I'm very pleased that she's actually here on Clydebridge station, and as I say, in the future I'm hoping to get somebody to come along and name her, and once that happens it'll be a very fitting tribute to such a fine machine. The real one was scrapped in 1995. The area to the left of the motor rail ramp has been given some vegetation, as you can see there. That's just stuff from Woodland Scenics that I've put down there. And if you actually notice as well as coarse turf, there's a few bushes. I've got a couple of bits of litter that I would like to add in there, so I will do that next month. And I've also got the scale model scenery fencing in place there. I just need to put a little bit along here. And we've got the scale model scenery pavement as well. So that's that section there completed. The only thing I've got to do here, as I say, is just put down a couple of bits of litter, and I won't overdo that either. That's actually the front here, but it's what's going on here that's the other bit that's interesting. At the start of the video, I went and said I would report back to you on my idea for getting lights at platform 6, bearing in mind there was a motor rail ramp, and you can see that I've managed to now get some operational platform end lights at platform 6. What I've had to do is a very crude way of doing it, but it was the only way I could think of. I had initially planned to try and solder dropper wires to the contacts on the actual lamp. That wasn't possible at first. So what I've done instead is I've actually got a spare piece of track and soldered dropper wires to the track and attached them to the main bus wire. I got the dropper wires from Scooney Hobbies in Kirkcaldy, and I've clipped it in and put this into the spare bit of track, and we now have lights. If I just show you what I mean, it's very crudely done, as you can see. There you go. It's not ideal, but I can't think of any other way to do it. My next problem is, of course, how I'm going to cover this over here. I've got plenty of time to think about that because I've actually got the other platform roads to still do. So there's plenty of time to think about doing the boxing in, as it were, of that. One possibility might be to put some vegetation round there, or try and make a bit of concrete in there. So there are a couple of possibilities that I can do, but I'm pleased to say I've now got a solution. The only issue I have now is that that one doesn't work. Not a big issue now, not important, but I will have a look at that at some point in the future. Now lastly for this month, it's the shout outs. My first shout out goes to Proper Chuffed. He's here on YouTube and Instagram. Now the gentleman's from South Africa, but he has got a West Highland set layout, which is very well worth watching. He's doing good progress on it. Not a lot of videos up, but he's been increasing the number recently. Proper Chuffed. It was very appropriate I was talking about the motorrail bay, because my next shout out goes to Woodhill Park Model Railway, who's been doing a motor rail terminal on there. There's been quite a lot of work done on that, so you can check that out on Woodhill Park Model Railway here on YouTube. West Blyth MPD, he is set in the northeast of England in the BR Blue era. You can give him a little check out too. And a couple of non-model railway shout outs. My first one goes to a gentleman who's the drummer in the heavy rock band The Hara, Jack Kennedy. You'll find him as The Hara Jack on Instagram, and I'll put a link at the top right hand corner to one of the videos on his YouTube channel where, how can I put it, he rocked too hard, to use his words. He was performing at a fly-in fly-out concert for the Hara. I think it was in Prague, and his snare drum went. It was actually, the kit was all provided for him, it wasn't his drum kit, and a snare went. Anyway, you can see what happened there, so I'll leave that. And with the rugby union season kicking off in England later this month, it's already kicked off up here in Scotland, my good friend and TNT Sports and ITV Sport rugby commentator Nick Mullins can be found on Twitter at @NickMullins. Oh, and you'll find him on Instagram with the same handle as well. I'm going to give the Concourse a rest now for the next couple of months, just to get my mojo back for it. I have done quite a lot on it, but there's still some to do. Next month, for the October update, I'm going to start work on something else. I'm going to just show you by lifting the camera up and getting all this concrete redone again. Some bits are fine, some bits are not fine. This looks okay, but that doesn't look okay. This certainly doesn't look okay. So I'm going to be working that out, and I'm going to order the bits that I need. While the bits are getting delivered, I'll be able to make a start on this bit here, get a proper base for the fuel tank. So that's coming up next month in here. I'll do as much work as I can here, and then in October, this blank area, this will be the one Nick Mullins will like, I'll make a start on building the new look rugby union ground there. So that's a couple of things that's hopefully going to come up in the next little while here on Clydebridge Station YouTube channel. So that's it for the September update. I hope you've enjoyed what we've brought you this month, and I look forward to your company next month. Now please, whatever you're doing, do take care of yourselves, won't you, and enjoy your lives, and thank you very much for watching. Cheerio.